Is the Iran war turning into a humanitarian crisis? The growing conflict involving Iran, Israel, and the United States is raising a serious question across the world. Could this war turn into a large humanitarian crisis in the Middle East? History shows that modern wars do not affect only soldiers. The biggest suffering is usually faced by civilians. Homes are destroyed, hospitals are damaged, and millions of ordinary people are forced to leave their towns and cities. The Middle East has already experienced such tragedies in recent decades. Conflicts like the Syrian civil war and the Iraq war created millions of refugees and displaced families. If the present tensions grow into a wider war, similar humanitarian consequences could appear again. One major concern is the possibility of the conflict spreading to other regions. Groups aligned with Iran operate in several areas of the Middle East. If fighting expands to places like Lebanon or Yemen, the war could quickly become a multi front regional conflict. Such a situation would dramatically increase civilian suffering and displacement. Another important factor is energy and trade disruption. The Middle East sits along one of the most important oil routes in the world, the Strait of Hormuz. Nearly one fifth of the world's oil supply moves through this narrow waterway. If fighting threatens this route, global oil prices could surge, causing inflation and economic stress worldwide. Humanitarian crises also place enormous pressure on international organizations. Agencies like the United Nations and the International Committee of the Red Cross often struggle to provide food, shelter, and medical care when conflicts expand rapidly. However, there is another side to this story. Major powers are usually cautious about allowing conflicts to spiral out of control. Diplomatic negotiations, back channel talks, and international pressure often work behind the scenes to prevent a full scale regional war. So the situation remains uncertain. The conflict has the potential to create a humanitarian emergency, but global leaders also understand the devastating consequences such a crisis would bring. In the end, the greatest victims of war are rarely the governments or the armies. They are the ordinary people who simply wish to live in peace.